I guess we're talking Veterans Day. We're talking aliases. We might as well talk about meat. And how I became goon. You see, I was once in the bar in Mary's Tavern over a couple nights in a row in Gaylord. That's how you know somebody's local. If they say Gaylord, you say, boom, you kick them right in the nuts and say, you owe me a beer. Something like that. But I was looking at these two short hairs down at the end of the bar. And I said, I can tell they're here for the thing down in Grayling that happens every year in the summer. A 2-week National Guard, you know, like Market Garden was down at Bragg, where they would have the National Guard come down and you'd have something. But they had, I guess they've got aircraft and tanks in Grayling. That's 30 miles away. They come up there every year from all over the place, and I could tell. And I leave them alone. And I sit there and drink my beer by myself. Because what do I need to talk to these fucking people about? If I liked it so much, I would have stayed in. I just ignore these people when they're there. But 2 nights in a row, I saw them. That's a 30-mile drive. Right up 75 from Grayling to Gaylord. So these are a couple guys that were like me getting out of Bragg, out of Vietnam, and going to Raleigh, 50 miles away, just so you didn't have to deal with the fucking people that fucking knew who you were. Just a fucking... So I look at these guys and I finally can't stand myself anymore. I gotta say something about it. I just gotta talk to them. I'm like, you down at Grayling? And okay. And normally, I explained it all just now. I don't talk about the military to people. You know, who gives a fuck? They take the lowest of us and try to make us look good in the news. And we get nothing but a regular wage for it. We don't make the money they do for what they do to us. Down at Grayling, they say, yeah. And we got talking, and I'd lost track with meat for years. Somehow, throughout all the years, we've come in contact between Fort Bragg. We were in Iraq together, Saudi, Iraq. We were there from the start to the finish, and that's where we met. And then I went and saw him in Georgia once, and we went to Florida. And then he was living in Antioch when I was in San Jose. And then just all over the place. You know, he was in Clearwater at one point. We've had some sort of connection, and I'd lost track of him. And so talking to these 2 guys that were obviously there for a 2-week stint at Grayling for their National Guard training, we said things back, and I said meat, and when I said meat, they said, First Sergeant so-and-so, First Sergeant Meat. We knew we were talking about the same person. And they said, we can give you his number right now. And I said, okay. And so they gave me his number. And there, 2 months later, I was at his retirement down in Georgia. I flew down, was invited, and he called in airstrikes for his graduation. We shot shotguns and fucking 38 specials and other kinds of weapons that we don't talk about. It was a great time. But I got back in contact with First Sergeant me. He wasn't First Sergeant me. We were the same person. And at his graduation, I was dressed in my military stuff. Yeah. In an old dirty beret. It looked good on my outfit. That just doesn't look right, does it? How about a baguette with that? Not wearing it right. I got to get up and talk about how I got an alias. I didn't put it that way. It was a military function. I had to act like a good person. But it was when we were right at the border of Iraq where we first met. We were still just in Saudi. And he was standing there eating a sandwich. And I'm walking by. I'm like, I got a rifle. Bayonet on my side. You know, what a fucking guy to give something to. And he says, Goonski. We'd just met. And I turned and I looked at him as I'm walking by. And I said, Goonski. And he said, I said, Elderquist. I was eating a sandwich. And he laughed so hard that my name from then on, I was Goon. That's one of my aliases. Everybody's got an alias. But I got to speak that at his retirement. Haven't seen him since. Lost track of him altogether. You'd think with technology today, well, I almost made a joke. And I stopped myself because it wasn't that funny. You'd think with technology today, we could just, we could find each other a little bit easier if we weren't all fucking working for spooks and the FBI and the CIA and everything. Oh my God, that's why you can't find anybody. It's too easy to get a job.